What's up, y'all? I'm still out here at the range, as you can see back behind me, on what's been a cold day out here. The sun is out, so it don't look near as cold as what it is. We're just about to hit 40 degrees, so that should give you an idea. Luckily, I hadn't had any wind out here, because if we was having some wind, I probably wouldn't even be out here today. So overall, it's been a pretty decent day for some testing. I've gotten a couple of good ones done so far, and this right here should be a very interesting 10 mil test. So of course, we got the jelly contraption ready to go with a couple of chronos and 2 blocks of gel. Now, like I mentioned, I've done a couple of tests, but they all stayed at the back. I've got a couple little straggly pieces right here, but that's not going to affect anything. That's going to be negligible, even if I do happen to run into those little tracks as far as the results here. Of course, up front, I've got my heavy clothing barrier that's got the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we got for this one should be some heavy hitting stuff on both ends of the spectrum. We've got the new Liberty Ammo Bear Country in 10 mil. This is a brand new line they've just released along with their spike stuff. This is a 70 grain projectile. They're claiming 2100 FPS, which would give you around 685 foot-pounds of energy. Now, as you can see, they are obviously marketing this as bear defense. Bear country, you got the big old brown on the front right there, so we're gonna see what it does. 70 grain is a little lighter than I would personally choose for bear defense, but we'll see what happens. It is actually a little heavier than their civil defense. It's more along the lines of the Overwatch weight. Now, it claims to be very, very hard, and it even says 100% hardened copper for more penetration. There's a look at your cartridge there, brass case. You've got that plated copper projectile, and I can tell you, it's probably going to be hard to show you this on camera. I can tell you for sure, this is a lot thicker walled projectile than their standard stuff. So just like the spike, they don't have a lot of info about this on their site. So I'm not sure if this stuff is supposed to fragment like some of their other lines, or if it's supposed to stay together and just go further. But either way, we're gonna find out. Now, I decided to put up against this what I would probably personally grab. If you told me to go in my stash and grab a box of defensive ammo for serious bear defense, this is what I would grab, just because this is the only 200 grain hard cast I've got. This is the Underwood 200 grain hard cast, coated hard cast. They're saying 1250 feet per second. Here's a look at your cartridge. Nice nickel plated, flat nose hard cast 200 grain lead projectile. So at 1250 feet per second, if we do happen to hit that, neither one of these had any test barrels, but that would give you just a handful more energy than this, but obviously a whole lot more weight. Now, I will say right up front, I'm certainly no expert when it comes to bear defense, bear protection, but just based on what I know in general as far as ballistics, this is what I would grab, a 200 grain hard cast, and this is what I would grab to run it out of. I've got my 5-inch Magnum Research 1911. So this should be a pretty good one, and it's one that I'm personally very interested to see the results from. Let's get all this stuff reset and see what they can do. All right, let's see what kind of numbers we get from these things, y'all. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each one, starting with this Liberty ammo first. Now, you're gonna see multiple readings from this lab radar, your large numbers right here at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one there I've got set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then the others I've got set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. Now, if I didn't mention, I may not even have mentioned, they're saying 2100 feet per second from this stuff right here. Again, no test barrel listed. If I had to guess, it would be 5-inch with 10 mil. So we should see that, and I expect we are going to see that, maybe even a little bit more. So let's see what happens. We didn't get any reading right there. Why is this thing acting up on me today? These are actually silver. Let me stop right now and color these rounds before I go wasting more. All right, let's try this again. It really shouldn't make that much difference with this radar, but it does. I believe it's the sun. It's making such a reflection. It just kind of gives it a flash bang out there to look at. Hopefully this takes care of the issue. 2258. 2190. I knew I went a little too fast right there. We'll let it calm down a second here. I'm gonna tell you what, we're just rolling with whatever we got. I ain't sending no more because it's just wasting rounds at that point. It's definitely the It's definitely that sunlight angle off of these rounds, and I just have to have the right exact angle. Let's check out the average of what we got. All right, we didn't manage to pick up but 2 rounds, so take this for what it's worth. Your 2-round average right there was 22-24, 69 spread between them with a 48.5 standard deviation. Again, that really don't count for a whole lot because it's only 2 rounds, but those velocities are definitely right on right there. So 2200 roughly is what this stuff's moving. Let's reset it and see what the Underwood does. All right, let's see what this heavy hard cast does. That Liberty ammo put some serious energy down range. That stuff was right at 750 foot-pounds. So this hard cast is gonna need about 1300 to match that energy. Now, obviously, you know, weigh the projectile weight difference is how you will, but it's gonna need about 1300 to equal the energy of that light one. I think we might actually get it, y'all. Nope, 1195, 1162, 1174, 1165, and 1164. So that's actually pretty disappointing velocity from this 200 grain hard cast from a 5-inch barrel. Let's check out the average. Well, now I know this right here ain't the one to be grabbing when I need to grab something. I would personally go with my 180 grain Buffalo Bore HP over this hard cast right here. Our 5-round average that time was 1172 from a 5-inch barrel. They're claiming 1250, so there ain't no way, y'all. 1172, a 32 extreme spread with a 13.5 standard deviation. So nice consistency from it. That's just too low. That velocity is too low for a 200 grain hard cast. Not saying this right here wouldn't do the job if you did your job, but we should be getting more from that right there. So 1172 here, and if you remember on the Liberty ammo, it was 2224. So you're talking about what is that, like 1,052, 1,070, 1,052? I mean, that's a huge difference. Obviously, it's a much, much different projectile weight, so that don't mean a whole lot. What does mean a decent amount, though, is the energy, and this light round definitely outdid it in the energy department. So anyway, now that I'm pretty much thoroughly disappointed in this hard cast, let's get everything set up. Y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's Jellystone jelly time. I'm gonna put one of each into the gel, starting with this Liberty Bear Country. I have installed the bath towel catch upgrade down there to the jelly contraption just in case. I don't know what these are supposed to do. If I'm guessing, these are still gonna fragment at 2200 FPS for 70 grains. This stuff's probably gonna fragment, and it's probably meant to, but like I say, I'm not really sure. Let's see what happens. All right, I have no idea what happened. Let me go check this out. All right, y'all, that is definitely not what I wanted to happen down there, but it's not surprising at all. Went exactly straight, exactly where I put it, but then that centerpiece curved out and went out the side. If y'all have seen these tests in the past, like the Liberty Civil Defense and stuff, a lot of times that's what happens. That little centerpiece, once it gets off balance, it just goes wherever it wants. So I'm gonna go ahead and send one of these hard casts because I don't know where I'm gonna have free space. I'm gonna send another one of those Bear Countries because I really want to see how far that centerpiece goes, but let's get this hard cast in there first, y'all. All right, that definitely went the distance because I saw the towels and all move down there. Let me go check it out. All right, no surprise with that one at all. It definitely went the distance down there. I'm gonna send another one of these Liberty ammos right here. I'm gonna put it on the right, on the back side, so you're not gonna get a clear picture, but it is what it is. Y'all can just blame the ammo this time. I wanna see how far this centerpiece actually goes. All right, that one should have been good enough where we could see something. Let me go check this out. All right, I think I managed to put these things in a good enough spot where we can see what's going on with them. It's a mess down here for sure, but it just is what it is when these things start swerving out the side. So the first one right here is the first Liberty Bear country. It comes in here. This is what I expect this Liberty ammo to do, and it did it again. You know, I'm really confused why they're marketing this stuff as like bear defense, bear protection, bear country, because it looks pretty much like the Overwatch or even the civil defense. Honestly, the penetration's not all that great at all. It's basically typical Liberty ammo type performance. Now, don't get me wrong, again, you're looking at 750 foot-pounds of energy. This right here is gonna mess something up. But when I think heavy, serious bear defense, this ain't it. This is not what I think of, because this penetration right here, to me, with that light of a projectile, I would really have to see for myself to have confidence in that. But anyway, it did what it claims to do as far as the performance here. You can see massive fragmentation. That's what this stuff always does. Comes all to pieces. Every bit of the outside rim breaks off and just shatters into a bunch of pieces. Tons of disruption, big early energy transfer, and then the centerpiece keeps going. And in this case, once it gets out of balance, it can curve every which direction, and you see what happened. It started curving over to this side and come right out the side. Now we'll go ahead from there to the other Liberty ammo. That's right behind it. It looks exactly the same. From here back looks exactly the same. You can't tell any difference. Huge energy transfer, massive fragmentation, and then the centerpiece keeps going. And then this time you can see the centerpiece, it started curved a little bit, but then it curved back up and ended up right here, probably about 1.5 inches further than where this first one exited. And to me, that's just not enough distance for serious heavy bear defense. But then the hard cast, of course, down on the bottom here, totally different story. This is the kind of performance that I personally want to see and what I think of when I think absolute serious heavy bear protection. The only problem with this is it needs more energy. There's just no excuse for a 200 grain hard cast 10 mil having this low of an energy level. But you can see here, it comes in, disruption all the way through its track, nothing real fancy looking because there's no expansion going on. Carries all the way through this first block, into the second block, carries all the way through this second block, and straight out the end. That is what most people, I would imagine, think of when they think of serious bear defense. But let's get a few measurements here. As far as the distance, this one went out the side at 10 inches, if that means anything. The one we kept, the Liberty ammo we kept, is at 11 3/4 inches. So that's what I'm saying. It didn't even make a minimum 12 inches right there. So to me, that's just not enough. And then of course the hard cast, full 32 inches. Now as far as the spread with these pedals, you're looking at about a 4-inch spread, 4-inch diameter from where those things fragment to pieces. And then here's your close-up look at them. Definitely a lot flashier appearance with this civil defense, or with the bear country, no doubt about it. You can see just massive energy transfer and fragmentation. That's where the one comes out. And then if you look right behind it, that's that other one. You can see just a perfect disc where all the outside peeled off. And then down here at the bottom, that's the hard cast again. You can see straight line all the way through, keeps on going, and goes out the end right there. Looking from above here, you can see the two Liberty ammos a little better there. Very nice disruption and energy transfer. I ain't taking anything away from that. And then there's your centerpiece. And then if we jump back down again to the hard cast, we'll follow it on through here. Goes out the end right here. Green towel, I'm sure it went through the green towel, I'd imagine. Yeah, completely through the green towel. Probably completely through this beige towel would be my guess. Actually, we may have caught it in the beige towel. Let me move some of these. Yeah, we actually caught this in this beigeish colored towel, so not there, not there. I felt it. There it is. So went through all the layers of this green towel, and then 2, 4, about 5 layers of another towel. And then there you see it. No really deformation to it at all. All right, let's check out these projectiles. Talk about a night and day difference right here. Obviously, this is the 200 grain hard cast, and that's that little 70 grain Liberty ammo. And I just had a quick look, and this is the same exact weight as the Overwatch 10 mil. It's the same weight. The Overwatch actually shows like 50 more FPS, so I don't get this stuff right here at all. I don't understand the purpose of this at all. I mean, they're claiming 100% hardened. Is it really that hard, that much harder, or is it any harder than the Overwatch? I mean, that would be some different tests for a different day, but this right here makes no sense to me. And then of course, this is that 200 grain hard cast. You can see there, very little deformation, a little bit around the edge. That could be smacking into the towels and stuff, but no deformation at all. The really disappointing thing here is the lack of energy. I mean, it has a good amount of energy, yes, but not anywhere like it should be for a 200 grain hard cast 10 mil. But let's get a little info on them and see what happened there. This thing started at 70 grains and it's all the way down to 38.2 grains. So nearly half of its entire weight lost right there. And then of course, this one was 200 grains. I don't expect anything lost right there. Actually, that's kind of light. Yeah, 194.2 I'm showing. Let's do it one more time to verify. Yeah, 194.2 grains, so a little bit light right there on top of being light on energy. And then as far as the sizes on them, this right here is always difficult. It's gonna be a little bit larger than the starting size just because of those edges where it peeled off. So you got 419 for the diameter, and then you got a thickness on this of 172. So as you can see, not a whole lot left right there. And then this big boy right here, let's see what the diameter shows. 393 right there, 395, a little bit deformed, a little bit smashed, scraped. So 397, and then the length on it is 673. So there you go, y'all. The Liberty Ammo Bear Country and Underwood 200 grain hard cast. I'm honestly kind of disappointed in both of these rounds right here. I would love to have the energy of this with this projectile and this performance in the gel, because this right here, to me, this has got some incredibly nice energy, but this is not bear defensive ammo in my opinion. Again, I'm no bear defense expert, but those of y'all out there who might be, chime in, let me know. I mean, even with the lack of energy right here, I think I might prefer this one if I had to go against some serious bear action, because this right here, that penetration just worries me. And then plus, when you've got that little tiny piece left, I mean, just realistically, what is that actually going to go through? Again, I would really have to see it in person and test it myself to have any confidence in that. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments. If you had to make a choice between one of these two rounds for serious brown bear defense, which one of these would you pick? All right, y'all, I'm gonna wrap it up right there for what I think was a pretty disappointing or at least unimpressive 10 mil test. As far as this Liberty Ammo Bear Country, I mean, we've seen this in the past. This is almost identical performance to the Overwatch 10 mil. I really don't understand the purpose here other than just another line for marketing purposes. Maybe it is a lot harder, maybe it will penetrate a lot more stuff, but again, I would have to definitely test that to be confident in it. And in the hard cast, on the other hand, it was almost just the opposite. It got exactly what I want to see as far as bear protection here in the gel, but the energy is just pathetic. To me, that is pathetic energy for a 200 grain hard cast 10 mil. But let me know what y'all think about it down in the comments, especially, like I said, those of y'all who actually do have to be concerned with brown bear defense. Which one of these would you take? Do you think either one of these are adequate to get that job done, or are there far better options? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Big thanks once again to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I've got a lot more really good stuff on the way, so make sure you stay on the lookout. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.